Hello everyone, Mike Barnes here with Asheville Guitar, and today we're going to be talking about slide guitar. And this is an actual core seeding bottle that my dog dug up in the backyard when I was living in West Asheville. And it's an actual core seeding bottle, and it's a really good one too. But that's kind of how it started out with Dwayne Allman used a core seeding bottle. There were great players like Ry Cooder, Sonny Landreth. Of course, Warren Haynes is a great slide player, and Warren probably influenced Derek Trucks quite a bit because Derek was young when Warren started playing with the Allman Brothers, and Derek is a great player. They're all fantastic. But so slide, when you're playing slide, you can play with a pick. Billy Gibbons is a great slide player, but he usually uses a pick or a peso, and you have to choke the notes if you play with a pick. Because if you move between strings, say if you have a lick like this, if you let those strings ring, you don't want both those strings to ring. So you can kind of choke with your palm a little bit back there. So I'm kind of choking the note, but sometimes it's more effective to use your fingers, right? Because you can mute between the strings. If I want to play this second string, I can mute these other strings with these other fingers, right? Right, and there's a lot of players that use open tuning for this style of playing with slide, and I've kind of favored just staying in standard just because it's easy. I don't have to transition guitars. And also, the advantage of playing in standard tuning is you have a minor chord if you play the bottom three strings. Like, if I play these bottom three strings here, it's an E minor, right? Now, if I want an E major, I just use the 4-3-2 string group. So there's an E major, there's an E minor. So you can play major and minor chords that way. If you're in an open tuning like open E or open G, you can't get a minor chord with just the slide because you can't get that minor third in there, right? All your standard positions work, and a good way to start off on slide is just to start playing through some scales and try to choke those notes between strings. So if I start with open or G major scale here, now you'll notice my thumb kind of starts covering those lower strings as I move across, right? Now my thumb is on the first sixth string. Now it's on the sixth and fifth. Now it's on the 6, 5, and 4. Now it's on the bottom, the lower 4 strings. Now it's all the way over to the second string, so I can play on the first string and not get any unwanted noise out of that those lower strings. Now, so if I'm playing the lower strings, I'm muting with these 3 fingers on the higher strings, right? And vibrato plays a big part in playing slide because you want to develop a nice smooth vibrato, almost like a voice, a beautiful singing note. Right, put that vibrato in it, kind of makes it personal. You can speed it up. You can play it really slow. Jeff Beck was another really great slide player. He's not really known for that, but he was a really expressive slide player because his vibrato would be pretty wide, at times. But you can really get a great effect by using slide, and of course it's used in all styles of music, but especially blues. So if you take like something like a that slide, put a slide lick in between. That kind of thing. You can kind of trade off between a riff and then a slide lick, right? So another thing to think about is playing by using the index finger behind the slide, right, to keep the strings nice and quiet. So if I play, say, this note, this B right here on the 2nd string, 12th fret, you can kind of hear both sides of the string ringing, because when I play this side, that's ringing also. But if I put my index finger behind that, it eliminates that kind of unwanted ring. So sometimes you want that real nasty kind of raspy type sound, but sometimes you want it really nice and smooth and clean. And that's putting that finger kind of behind the slide. Now, sometimes Sonny Landreth will do a thing where he goes behind the slide and get a really haunting type sound. And that works really well in open tuning, like if you're in open E or open G. But this one's in standard tuning right now. So you have different types of slides. You have like the one I was using before. This is a glass slide, and it has glass has a smooth sound. Has a little, quite a bit of sustain. Now, if you use a thinner glass slide like this one, it's going to be a little raspier and not as much sustain. So it kind of dies out a little bit, but that's kind of a desirable sound sometimes. Then you have a glass slide like this that has a little arch in it, right, to compensate for the arch in the strings over your bridge, right, because they're not all straight. Your fingerboard's not completely flat. Some guitars are flatter than others, but this has a little bit of a curve to it, so that compensates for that curve, and you can get all the strings to ring. Or if you used strictly a straight slide like this, then it would, one of the strings might suffer from connection. If I lay it flat against the upper strings, that lower string is being missed a little bit because of the arch of the bridge. And then you have here's a Derek Trucks signature slide, which is very similar to the Coricidin bottle. Almost identical. Maybe a little longer and a little bit thicker, I believe. And that one sounds like this. It's very smooth, smooth sound. Then you have ceramic slides. This is a mud slide. So ceramic is kind of somewhere in between glass and metal slides. Not quite as smooth as glass, but pretty close. And definitely not as harsh as the metal slides. So the metal slides, and here's another ceramic that one of my friends made for me. It's kind of a shorter one. And then you have metal slides. So you have different types of metal slides. Copper was, Johnny Winter was famous for using a piece of copper tubing. And he played it on his little finger instead of your middle finger, like Dwayne played on your middle finger. And so he played it on his little finger, and it gets a little bit of a... So Johnny Winter was famous for using a piece of copper pipe. Lowell George of Little Feat was famous for using just a spark plug socket, right? That's what this is. And it's pretty thick, So you'll have a lot of sustain with this. Right? And then you've got, you know, the thicker chrome slides like this, a little heavier, lots of sustain. And you also have shorter versions of that, which a lot of people will use maybe on their finger to where they can still use the other fingers of your hand, you know, the finger that you're playing slide with. You can still use the tip of that finger to play notes. And use it. So you can, that one's kind of interesting to use. And then you have just a regular bottleneck. You know, that's where the term bottleneck slide came from, is just taking a bottle, the neck of a bottle, and breaking it off and smoothing out the edges. And that's what I've done here with like just a regular, like a wine bottle or something like that. And this one, you want to try to get it a bottleneck that's really straight. This one's got a little bit of an arch to it, but you can use that. You know, when you're in a bind, which I've done before at playing clubs and through the years, I've taken just a beer bottle and broken it off and put some duct tape around it so I wouldn't cut myself, and used it. And you know, if you have a beer bottle, you can use the whole bottle. Sometimes it doesn't free up your other fingers of your hand, so you're kind of limited. But you can use just the neck of a beer bottle if you're in a bind. You kind of break it off. Just be careful when you do that. So hopefully that'll help you get going with slide guitar. Slide guitar is an awesome thing to add to your arsenal as a guitar player. And I really appreciate you watching. Please subscribe and like, and I'll see you soon. See you the next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.